Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a good week. Hope it's just good to be outside and be warm. I'm wearing shorts today. It's not too early for shorts. It's like 80 degrees today, so it's a good thing. Sorry about last week. We had some technical difficulties, and I couldn't shoot a video for last week. But we're back for this week, and we're starting a new unit. We're starting Unit 32, and we're on Session 1 this week. And we are going to be in Acts chapter 12, verses 1 through 17. And this is kind of a cool story. It's not one of those stories that you tell your kids all the time. It's not a very common story, but it's a significant story. This is a story where we see first to start the story, we see James, the brother of John, be killed for his faith. He's beheaded by Herod, and Herod's trying to step up the persecution, thinking that will stop the church from growing. And then on top of that, he arrests Peter, who is kind of like the top dog for the church at that time. And so what can we learn from this passage? What can we learn to teach to our students? One of the things that I would say too, I'm not going to mention this in the video, but the questions for this week are really good. So definitely pay attention to that. I guess you always should, but this week there was some that really stuck out. So check those out. But just a few things I think for us to learn from this passage that we can talk to our students about. Number one, and this is more so a thing that we can see all throughout history, the church has never been defeated by force. The church has never been defeated by force. In fact, it only makes us stronger, right? It inspires us and motivates us. This was definitely the case in the early church. As persecutions happened, as martyrdoms took place, yes, it incited fear, but more so than the fear, it incited this desire to go after Christ even more. Right, looking at someone's example of that, hey, like if they love Jesus so much that they're willing to die for that, then how much more should we be living out our faith? You know, how real is that faith that we follow, that we live out? Right, and in fact, if you look at the places where the church has become corrupt, or the church has become weak, it's been in moments where there's really not much persecution. Right. I think one of the biggest things today, and we're getting there with persecution in America, but sometimes the fact that we right now freely get to go to church and everything and stuff, like I think sometimes even right now we can realize, like, hey, it can be hard to focus on the main things when we're not having to battle persecution, right? I guarantee you there's not as many just small disagreements in churches where there's major persecution, because at the end of the day, they're just glad to be able to meet and to gather, right? And so the church has never been defeated by force. If anything, it only helps the church grow even more, right? And so that's why when we pray for even missionaries today, we know that there are people in this world that are being persecuted for Christ. As hard as it is, we don't pray that that persecution would stop. We pray that Christ will be glorified through that, and we pray that those missionaries will be strengthened during that, because we know that persecution only grows the church. So definitely something to think about there. And I spent the whole video on that one point. Sorry about that. Secondly, if you look in this passage, as the angel of the Lord is delivering Peter thinks it's a vision. If you ever had something like a dream that felt so real, right, and you woke up and you found out it was just a dream, well, this is like the opposite. It seemed so unreal to Peter that he thought that he was dreaming or he was having a vision, right? And then he finds out that he literally just walked out of prison, So God works even when we can't see it, even when it's right in front of us. He still works, and we can be so spiritually blind at times of seeing him, and thank the Lord that doesn't stop him from working. Because I can think of so many times when I've been blind to what Christ is doing in my life, and the whole time he's been working. So think about that as well. And then lastly, you look at what Peter does at the end. He goes in and he tells the other disciples about what happened. And I think so often in our lives, we like to dull down the love of God and the great things he does in our life. But when he does something awesome, that's something to be spoken of. That's something that we should tell others. We boast in him, not in ourselves. more often we tell about the great things that we do, or like how much money we make, or what we did in that game, or whatever, what kind of car we drive, anything. But when's the last time we generally sat down and just bragged on what the Lord has done in our lives? So think about that as you prepare to teach this week. Thanks, guys.